My 23 female family lives in my grandparents' house just outside the city on some acreage. My dad works out of town, and my mom liked having the help with me and helping out her folks. My mom passed away from cancer about 12 years ago. My dad still had to work, so I just kept living with my grandparents. My dad has always spent time with me when he was home. I wish my mom hadn't passed, but I had a pretty good life. When he was home, he would stay in their old room, or we would go on vacations. My grandparents both passed away over the last couple of years. My mom was an only child, and so was I. My mom's life insurance went to my dad, who used it to help renovate the house. My grandparents never charged him rent. Sorry, I realize how confusing this is. Anyways, I'm the only person in my grandmother's will, so I got the money and the house and my grandpa's truck. My dad started dating a couple of years after my mom passed away. He never brought anyone to the house until this last one. She's young but pretty. She also has 2 young kids. He talked to me about it and asked if they could move in. It's a big house and I have a large area to myself, so I agreed. So she's been living with me for about 6 months. Now she just got pregnant. My dad asked her to marry him. I'm happy for him as he's a great dad. He's crap at communicating though. My stepmom-to-be has started in on me about when I'm gonna move out, since they'll need my room for the baby. I guess she wants her mom to come live with her and help. My dad never told her the house is mine. So my dad came home last weekend and we had a long talk. The stepkids have been sharing my grandparents' old room. I have my room with a big closet and ensuite my dad put in, and he has the other big bedroom with an ensuite. She wants me to move to the city while I finish my education. She offered me her apartment at a discount. I waited for my dad to tell her. He didn't, so I did. I told her it was my house and I was not giving up my room. I also said that my dad had a fair amount of savings and could probably buy them a house, especially if they sold her apartment and used it for a down payment. Now I'm the idiot for making him use the money he was planning on for his retirement, and she doesn't want to sell her apartment because the market will keep going up and she wants to build equity. I made it clear that they should move before the baby came. Am I the idiot? Well, too bad. Don't get with a woman so much younger than you if you're not ready to pick up the tab for your future children and such, because you want to save for your retirement. Overall, it seems like his new baby's mama thought he was older and wealthy so she could get more out of him. But this whole thing fell flat when she noticed that he didn't own the house, and the gall to kick you out, but then offer her old living arrangements at a discount? Nope, you are not the idiot, OP. Oh boy, it looks like your dad has picked a real sweetheart. Even not knowing the house was yours, trying to get you to move out to make way for her baby, presumably without talking to your dad first, is an idiot move for sure. So is wanting him to buy a house but not be willing to sell her place to contribute. And if he doesn't have the nerve to stand up to her, as he doesn't, it sounds like he's in for a treat. None of that is your problem, of course. Your dad is an adult, responsible for his own decisions. You didn't kick them out into the streets with no options. Look at it this way. She wanted a place without you in it, and now she can have one. Problem solved. They could make some sacrifices and have a comfortable living situation. Your stepmother and your father are trying to push you out of your own house, where you've allowed them and the children to live rent-free. Talk to an attorney immediately. Getting rid of them legally may be much harder than you realize. In many jurisdictions, a visitor can become a legal tenant, regardless of whether they pay you any rent, in a month or even less. I, 30 female, have a daughter, Lily, young child. My brother James, 32, and his wife, Brittany, 26, married in July. I was friendly with Brittany before they were dating and engaged, but we weren't friends. James and I are very close though. When James first proposed to Brittany and they started wedding planning, it was made very clear to me that Lily and I would be a part of the wedding. Throughout the wedding planning process, it was reiterated that Lily would be a flower girl and I would be the maid of honor. A few weeks before the wedding, Brittany came to my house to talk. She explained that her family had raised concerns about kids attending the wedding, and Brittany and James had decided to make the ceremony child-free, but that Lily was more than welcome to come to the reception. So I tell her something along the lines of, "Okay, it's your wedding. I love my brother, so I'll do whatever he asks of me." Fast forward to the rehearsal. We line up and everything is going as expected until Brittany's 3 nieces, all under 8, walk in as junior bridesmaids. Of course, I'm confused and slightly annoyed, but whatever. After, James pulls me to the side and said that Brittany was worried that Lily would accidentally ruin the wedding with a temper tantrum, and that's why they lied about the wedding being child-free. I explained to James that I was angry, and it hurt that they thought that about my child, but it was fine. I had already arranged for my friend to watch Lily during the ceremony and then meet me for the reception. James said he understood my feelings and disagreed with Lily not being invited. On the day of the wedding, Brittany asked where Lily was and why she wasn't there while we got ready. I explained that she was with a friend and would be at the reception later. Brittany then said she's going to call so Lily can be brought over for the pictures because people will ask why she's missing in them, making her look bad. I told her she could call, but my friend knew the situation and won't come until I asked her to. Brittany called James to have him make me stop being a petty witch, but he said he knew the plan and didn't see a problem with it. She then asked what she's supposed to tell people when they look at the photos and ask where Lily is. I said to tell them that she wasn't invited since she has too many temper tantrums. After that, she called me a witch and said I was taking things too personally. After that, the wedding was awkward, to say the least. There was a lot of drama within the wedding party that had nothing to do with this situation. James texted our family group chats with a link to the wedding photos. Now the extended family's been reaching out, wanting to know why Lily wasn't in any of the pictures, and I've explained the situation. My mom is on my side, but all my aunts and uncles say that I'm a petty idiot. So, am I the idiot? What an absolute crap show. Not the idiot. Your daughter wasn't invited, so why would she be in the pictures? Although I'm curious, why is your family so concerned about your daughter having a temper tantrum? Is this a pattern with her? How are you a maid of honor without knowing that other kids would be involved in the wedding? No, she doesn't throw temper tantrums regularly. It's definitely not a pattern and is very out of the norm for her. I was originally just a bridesmaid, but drama within the wedding party is the reason Brittany promoted me to maid of honor. The bride and groom made their choices clear. Who comes and doesn't is their choice, nobody else's. Lying to you about it was super crappy. No excuse for them there. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Make it seem like the kids were warmly welcomed, when in fact, Lily was coldly excluded. It's their wedding day and you must respect that. But that doesn't mean having your daughter become a prop for the official photos or assisting them in misleading the family and relatives by implying Lily was invited when she wasn't. Exactly. She got her wish. Lily was not at the wedding and was at the reception, which is why sometimes we must be careful what we wish for. The photos represent things perfectly. When people ask, be sure to add how the bride lied to you about the wedding being child-free. Around 3 months ago, I, 25 female, married my husband, 27. I've been hearing about this from my in-laws nonstop. My husband has a younger sister, Alice, 22, who in my opinion is a total brat. Alice had some type of childhood sickness, but she overcame it. However, his parents were very lenient with her, to the point where she could not be corrected in any form without it being a big deal. She was let go from multiple jobs because of this, and she doesn't have many friends and always has to be the center of attention. So on my other sister-in-law's birthday, their parents got Alice a gift just in case she got jealous. I'm an only child, and my only sisterly figure has to be my best friend, Marie. We met in 3rd grade, and since we were only children, we instantly clicked. We are fiercely protective of each other. My husband and I decided to have a summer wedding, and to my surprise, Alice showed up wearing a lacy white dress. I would have believed you if you had told me she picked this out of a wedding catalog. Between the wedding and the main reception, we had a cocktail hour. People kept asking me about Alice, and I was becoming visually annoyed. So many people thought she was my husband's ex instead of his sister. I could tell the situation was making Marie angry, and I watched Marie walk over to my husband's family, greet them, and on her way back, she tripped and fell by Alice while holding a glass full of red wine. Alice ran to the bathroom, with mother-in-law following her, and father-in-law came up to us and started to demand that Marie leave. I told them no, Marie is a lightweight and it was a mistake. My husband backed me up and said that since Marie is thin, she can't handle as much alcohol, but we'd make sure she sobered up before the reception. At the reception, Alice was wearing a beautiful green dress, and Marie magically felt better. My in-laws have been bringing up this incident nonstop, but I have difficulty feeling bad, even though I know it wasn't an accident. Not the idiot, and your best friend is awesome. This is what it's about. Do not feel bad or guilty at all. Your in-laws need to quit coddling the brat that they created, and they need to quit being so childish to still bring this up. You should tell them to grow up and move on. Kudos to your hubby for backing you up. Another way this could have gone is Hubs could have confronted his sister and told her that she needed to change. I understand why he wouldn't want to do that, but it would have gone a long way in proving to his wife that he has her back and won't allow his family to mistreat her, that they're a team. He probably knew his sister would throw a hissy fit in front of everyone and didn't want his wedding day ruined by it. Your in-laws created a monster, and your friend was just fixing the white dress issue. Everyone knows that you don't wear a white dress to a wedding. Clearly they had a backup dress, so what's the problem? Also, if she ever finds someone to marry her, please get pregnant and accidentally announce the fact that you're pregnant at her wedding. So many narcissistic women who cannot let anyone else shine in their presence. My sister-in-law is that type of woman. I've seen her cry because she didn't get a turkey leg during Thanksgiving dinner at the ripe age of 20. I'm getting married in 3 months, and I've sent out the invitations. In the invites and emails I've sent to my guests, I've only requested people avoid wearing white for obvious reasons and emerald green, bridesmaids' dress colors. I've also asked people to RSVP until a certain date, or else I won't include them in the reception dinner, since the price per person is very expensive, so I don't want to pay for people who won't show up at all. So basically those 2 rules, nothing else. Kids are invited, families are invited, and I couldn't care less about what my guests choose to wear, except those 2 colors I mentioned above. For context about my sister-in-law, she's my fiance's sister. We have an okay relationship, not extremely friendly, but we don't hate each other, and we get along. During my fiance's birthday celebration, some friends and I were chatting about the wedding, and they were telling me how they're surprised how chill I am about the wedding rules, and how it's refreshing to go to a wedding where they won't feel like they're walking on eggshells. I said that wasn't me at all, and I just wanted my guests to have fun as well, so I didn't want to put too many limitations. So the girlfriend of one of my fiance's friends also showed me the dress she's thinking of wearing to our wedding and wanted my approval on whether it's acceptable or if I believe she'd overshadow me. It's a yellow dress on the revealing side, but I honestly loved it, and I told her to go ahead and wear it. I told her I'm the bride. It's not easy to overshadow the bride, and if someone does, well, sucks for me, but it's really not that deep. I didn't say it to shade my sister-in-law, but she took offense to everything I said and called me a pretentious idiot. She took offense because she had multiple rules on her wedding, child-free, strict dress code, and all that. Of course, we abided by those rules back then because her wedding, her rule. Of course, I never intended to offend her. I was just stating my own rules and mindset behind all my organization. She called me out and said that I enjoyed subtly shading her. She called me a snake and told me that if I had to say something, I should say it in her face. Then she and her husband left the party. My mother-in-law told me my sister-in-law overreacted indeed, but I'm also at fault because I flaunted how chill and different I am and rubbed it in her face to make her feel bad about her own wedding. However, my fiancé and I did nothing wrong, and sister-in-law would grow up and get over it. Could I be the idiot? Not the idiot. She likely knows she was over the top with her wedding rules and internalized everything you said. That's her problem, not yours. She's also probably jealous that you're chill about your wedding and you get to enjoy the process. Don't apologize to her. She's the one that's a dramatic idiot. And here I thought, It was the sun the earth revolves around, and it turns out it's your sister-in-law. You can't be responsible for people's reactions who make stuff about them when it's not remotely about them. I am impressed, though, I've got to tell you. It's the rare bridezilla who can keep being bridezilla with someone else's wedding. So your formerly bridezilla's sister-in-law is butthurt because you're confident that you won't be outshined on your wedding day, when some of her wedding rules may have been crafted to prevent that exact scenario. Your day, your way. Congratulations, and I hope you have a fantastic wedding. We, the company, had a new employee, Christina, working in our section, and she's a nice lady in her late 30s. She's married with kids. We had several conversations before. We were close by, and one time she was sitting and moved to the side, and her already showing cleavage got clearer. The office got awkward, and the guys there looked down. It was obviously something minor, but it kept happening. I had a couple of our male coworkers complain to me about Christina's cleavage. I'm more of a tomboy woman, so the men feel comfortable enough around me. They were saying that having to be forced to encounter a similar situation to the one I mentioned makes them uncomfortable. I couldn't help but notice that all the clothes, tops specifically, that Christina wears are designed to show cleavage. I brought it up to her the next day and casually pointed out how her cleavage was showing. She said nothing, just nodded at me. So I went ahead and asked if she deliberately wore clothes that showed her cleavage. She looked offended and asked if there was a problem. I flat out said that it felt weird to me if that was the case, and that a married woman is okay showing her cleavage in a professional workplace with male coworkers around. She got upset and asked how it was any of my business what she chose to wear. Respectfully, I told her she could wear whatever she wanted, but some employees just don't feel comfortable having to be exposed to this kind of stuff at work. She told me that it was none of my business and that those who have an issue with her clothes should stop being cowards hiding behind me and come talk to her face to face. We argued, and some of my female coworkers agreed with me, though they said I could have phrased this better. Christina started avoiding half of us, which seemed unprofessional because part of our job is to interact, but she chose to stay away. I tried talking to her, and another argument started, with her saying she'd take this to the administrators if I keep it up, but I really was just trying to talk things out. Am I the idiot for what I said to her? Those male colleagues must be very proud of you. That's what your behavior is about, right? You're not like the other girls. The boys like you. Her cleavage is none of your business, idiot. Suppose she does want to wear tops that showcase her décolletage. This is not anyone's business. Her sartorial choices are hers. What you and the men in the office are doing is body shaming. If I were her, I would go to HR with this. If the men in the office are uncomfortable, maybe someone needs to have a talk with them about self-control. Shame on you for getting in on this. You are the idiot and way out of line. Being a woman doesn't give you the right to dictate dress from your coworkers. You're not her boss. You're not even quoting a dress code violation. You're just trying to force her to align to what you decided is right. Being married with kids is irrelevant information. Keep your nose in your own business, and if other employees try to gossip to you, then keep it to yourself. I'm a 46-year-old male, and my brother's 48. When I was 20, my then girlfriend cheated on me with my brother. I was heartbroken and angry. I told him that he was no longer my brother. Despite my request, my family didn't cut him off. So I told them that I would never again be in the same place as he was. If they wished to invite both, they should invite him, as I'm the one giving the ultimatum. My daughter's getting married in the spring of next year. In our culture, both parents pay for the wedding 50-50. Unexpectedly, my daughter set me down and told me she would invite my brother and his family. He married my cheating ex. Apparently, she had been seeing them for the last 4 years and had built a relationship behind my back. She even wants her cousin to be a flower girl. I was angry. I told her what my boundaries are, and if my brother's invited, then I will not pay for any part of the wedding. She became angry and told me it's time to let go of the past. I told her it was not her call to make. We argued some more and she told me I was making her wedding about myself. I told her I would probably not attend, so it would be all about her. She left crying. My ex-wife called me screaming and told me I was a huge idiot and our daughter was crushed. Then my parents called and the same thing happened. I told them off and now I'm ignoring their calls. My girlfriend told me to reconsider and apologize. I will break my relationship with my daughter by not paying and attending. I don't know. I think my boundaries should be respected. Am I the idiot for that? Not the idiot. This is one of those stories where your daughter's decided that she's willing to alienate you for someone that betrayed your trust. It doesn't matter if it was 20 years ago. It only matters that it happened, which means she betrayed your trust. If she wants him there so badly, he can pay the half due. The people around you need a reality check. Ask your daughter if her fiancé cheated on her with her sister tomorrow, moved on with the affair partner, and decided to stay close to him, how she'd feel. It's so easy for everyone to judge you when they're not in your shoes. And in terms of the money, tradition or not, it's yours, and you can do with it as you please. I still wouldn't pay since there's so much secrecy. I bet you'll pay, and your brother will show up regardless. He supports his daughter his whole life and makes it clear his brother's no longer welcome in his life. His daughter betrays his trust and springs this on him while also expecting him to be a checkbook for her wedding. She's a grown woman. She can learn the consequences. It was probably the brother making sure OP's daughter liked him to get another one in on OP. I do not like the brother. Here's a very unpopular opinion. I don't understand why your daughter decided to connect with someone who betrayed their father. How much drama would it have been to let sleeping dogs lie? I know many people won't agree with me, but if this causes an irreparable rift between you and your daughter, being right won't give you much comfort. While I'm fully supporting you standing your ground, just remember if you stand here, you will miss out on her potential kids, birthday parties, and other family events because your family will truly cut you off. If you're okay with that, then so be it. It's been 26 years, longer than OP's daughter has even been alive. I understand being annoyed that his brother's invited, not wanting to talk or take pictures with him, etc. But giving up your relationship with your daughter is cutting off your nose to spite your face. Here's my question, OP. Your brother stole your girlfriend. Do you want him to steal your daughter too? Your grandchildren? If not, stop being an idiot and suck it up for one day. So I, 25 female, work in a pretty big office in a big city. The floor I work on is specifically for a branch of the company, so there are only a dozen or so people on that floor. I bring my lunch every day because I usually don't have time to get up and get food for myself. One of my favorite foods is strawberries, and I always eat them. About a week ago, a woman I'll call Jane, 47, started working in the room about 7 doors down from me. A couple of days ago, I pulled out my lunch and started munching on my strawberries while trying to type an email. Jane knocks on my door and asks me what I'm doing. She says this in a very high-pitched, angry tone, so I'm taken aback, and all I can murmur out is a small, "What?" before she starts yelling at me. She goes on about how I should know she's allergic and that even smelling strawberries can cause her a severe reaction. I cough on my strawberry and rush to put it back in its container, and she gets even angrier that I didn't already know. I apologize and put my food back in my lunchbox. Then I put it in my desk drawer. The next day I went to my supervisor, I'll call Derek, to talk about this situation and ask if we could maybe put a sign up at the entrance of our office floor that tells us what allergies our coworkers have. That way we can avoid mistakes that happened the day before. He looks at me confused and asks what I'm talking about. I explained what had happened the day before, and he sighed and explained to me that Jane had no proven documentation about her allergy and didn't put any allergies on the employee information sheet when she was employed. I sigh with relief and ask if it's okay for me to bring my strawberries the next day, and he says it's perfectly fine. So the next day I brought my strawberries, and Jane goes off on me as I open my lunch and claims I'm trying to kill her. She says this loud enough that all of my other coworkers gather around my door to see what's going on. Jane storms out, and about half my coworkers tell me I'm an idiot for doing that to her and walk out with her. The other half sits there and tells me it's fine and that she did the same thing to them, but with different foods. Examples: carrots, beans, avocado, etc. I'm getting a lot of angry emails calling me an idiot, and I feel horrible. But some of my coworkers are saying I did nothing wrong. Am I the idiot? Your boss cleared you and stated that she didn't write them down or provide documentation. If she would die from the smell, she'd be dead already upon entering your office. Not the idiot. Enjoy your fruits. Next time she comes in, tell her to take it up with the supervisor and HR. You inquired and were cleared to eat them at the office. She smells strawberries from 7 doors down and then proceeds to walk closer to the smell that could kill her to tell you the smell could kill her. She's a moron, but it seems like she's lying based on all the other food weirdness. If she's done this to other coworkers about other foods, I'm willing to bet she either just doesn't like the smell or she likes the drama and attention. There's no allergy involved. Anytime you need an accommodation at work for your health, you must provide documentation. Ask your supervisor if they can send out an email to everyone saying that any allergies must be registered with the workplace if accommodations are needed. Hopefully that'll stop the emails and hate. Also, let them know that this person shouted at you again for just eating your lunch. My husband, 35, and I, 32, are friends with 2 other couples, and we've been taking group vacations for a few years now. We're all teachers except for my husband, who's a welder, so we don't take every single vacation together or anything like that. But for 1 week every summer, we go somewhere as a group. It is a great way for us to reconnect and decompress. I've always left my kids with my parents, and the other couples have arranged their own childcare. We got together this last weekend to decide what we were going to do for next summer. We decided that we were going to Florida. Believe it or not, it is cheaper and less crowded in the summer, and all of us can deal with the heat. But one of the couples wants to bring their tween child. She loves seashells and has heard all about this place. Okay, not ideal, but we decided it would be fine. Here's the problem. We always split the cost of the rental evenly. It's fair. 3 couples, each of us pays a third. So we found a rental with 1 room with 2 queen beds, so that we'll still only need 3 rooms. Not acceptable. On their vacation, they want alone time. Okay, we'll find a rental with 4 bedrooms, but it's more expensive, so they'll have to pay more since they get 2 bedrooms. Cue shocked Pikachu's face. But we always split the rental 3 ways. Well, yeah, because 3 isn't 4. Before anyone says anything, we didn't tell them that they had to pay 50% since they got 2 bedrooms. That isn't what we said. We just expected them to pay the difference between a 3-bedroom and a 4-bedroom rental. Now they're upset with us for burdening them financially because they want to give their daughter an experience. My husband and I don't think we should subsidize them. However, the third couple thinks we should split the bill this one time to keep the peace. Am I the idiot? Now they're upset with us for burdening them financially because they want to give their daughter an experience. I'm sorry, what? If they want to give their daughter an experience, they need to pay. Ask them if they're willing to pay for your kids' trip somewhere because you want to give your kids an experience. Not the idiot. The third couple thinks we should split the bill this time to keep the peace. Nope. Never set a precedent. They'll expect you to adhere to it every time. Stick to your guns. They can stick with 1 room if they want to split it evenly. In fact, please show them the responses. They have a lot of gall to think everyone should subsidize their extra room. But something else I'd be far more worried about. They explicitly said they want alone time, and it's their vacation. But when you bring a single child on vacation with adults, that child needs to be entertained. There are no other children around. Who's expected to do that while the parents want alone time? Is this also something they expect to share equally? Prepare yourself for a vacation that is anything but child-free. While you dropped off your children to have time for yourself, you'll be watching another couple's child instead. Before I start, I'd like to say I'm a big girl. No shame in that. I love myself just the way I am, and I've been living by the motto, be you, everybody else is taken. Mother-in-law, dear husband's mom, always commented about my weight. Since I got pregnant, she started making more comments while low-key shaming me for what I eat. Whenever I visited, she'd give me a smaller plate, portion, cup, even spoons. She always buys me small-size clothes, even though I'm in my second trimester and those clothes don't fit. My sister-in-law decided to throw me a baby shower after my husband denied it when my sister offered to throw me one. The whole side of my in-laws' family is invited. However, my mom refused to come after my husband's words to my sister, another story for later. I got there, and mother-in-law was in charge of serving food to the guest. All that was served were cakes and juice. I got hungry from talking and I got up to eat some cake. The second I put my hands on the cake, mother-in-law grabbed my arm and said I'd gained enough weight already, and that if I, quote, keep this up, her son would not be happy living with a large walrus. I was shocked. I didn't know how to react, especially since she said this out loud. She looked at me in a sorry, not sorry kind of way. I put the cake down and grabbed my stuff and started walking. Her daughter stopped me, saying that I can't leave mid-party and embarrass her like that. I told her to tell her mom to leave if she wanted me to stay, but she went off and said, "Are you crazy? She's my mom. You want me to kick her out in front of everybody?" So I turned around and kept walking. I called mom to come pick me up and went home. Dear husband came home looking furious. He asked me to explain what I did at the baby shower and why. I mentioned what his mom did, and he started ranting about how I messed this up over something so minor. I told him it wasn't minor, in my opinion, since she literally cut me off food and didn't let me eat when I was hungry. He said that his mom meant well, and that I needed to get rid of this easily offended mindset immediately before I passed it down to our son. He said that cakes are not essential foods, and that this was not a good enough reason to walk out of the baby shower that his mom and sister put a ton of money, time, and effort into. He said I had hours to call and fix things, but I refused. I went to stay with my mom because he wouldn't stop pressuring me to call and apologize for what happened. He kept talking about how angry and let down his mom and sister felt, and called me ungrateful and spiteful for doing what I did. Am I overreacting here? Edit. My sister is infertile and has been for years. My husband claimed that she's become obsessed with the baby simply because she bought me stuff for the baby as gifts and wanted to throw me a baby shower. My sister is a great person, and I have no doubt that she only did all that just because of how great she is and will be as an aunt. My husband kept insisting there was something wrong with her, which led to a fight between them, and he called her a possessive witch. My mom kicked him out, and my sister cut contact with him. The issue got worse with my brother-in-law, her husband, arguing with my husband, not the idiot. So your own sister wasn't allowed to throw you a baby shower, which then caused your mom not to attend. Instead, your husband allows his sister to throw one, where your mother-in-law bullied you. Are he and his family trying to control you? Isolate you from your family? OP needs to be careful because that's exactly how it sounds. Please take cautions, OP. Your situation with these people sounds extremely toxic and dangerous. Don't let your dear husband manipulate you into isolation from your family, because that's exactly what he's attempting to do. This is not a man you want to raise a child with. Agree. Any man that would allow his mother to verbally abuse and deny his wife food and then gaslight and berate his wife for standing up for herself is a massively abusive idiot. This is divorce territory now. Stay somewhere safe. Better yet, make him leave the house while divorce proceedings happen. If I were you, I would get the heck out. You have excellent self-love. Don't let them take that away from you, and protect your child from those people. Heaven forbid he gets a little chubby as he grows up, because then he'll be made to feel like he's less too. But he won't have built up the thick skin it takes to deal with them as you have, and what it does to him could be much worse. I grew up being called fat by my mother and developed a disorder that I still struggle with today. I, nearly adult female, would rather live with my dad, but for school reasons, it's just a lot more convenient for everyone for me to live with my mom during the week. So mostly I'm here to humor my dad. My mom did some stuff during their divorce that I think was crappy, so I don't really like her very much now, but I've been trying to just keep things civil until I graduate. She married a guy with 2 kids, tween male, younger tween female, at lightning speed after the divorce, and the whole merging families thing isn't going well. His kids hate her. I feel somewhat neutral about him and want to be left alone, and the step-siblings and I are okay, but mostly they do their own thing and I do mine. And it's not the happy blended family my mom wanted, and she keeps trying to force it and making it worse. Her husband goes along with her, so basically, nobody is happy in that house. I kinda exploded the hornet's nest this last weekend because I lost my cool about something my mom has been pushing for a while about the stepfamily. She insists on calling my stepdad my dad and the kids my siblings, and gets frustrated that I won't call them that. They're not. I have a dad, and I didn't grow up with these kids. I'm not gonna pretend. I finally got tired of it, so when we ran into some of my mom's and stepdad's friends last weekend, and he introduced me as his daughter, I said, "I'm not your daughter." My mom tried to laugh it off, but the friends looked uncomfortable, and she got mad at me in the car and told me I needed to get with the program and stop being a jerk about this. I told her that he wasn't my dad. The kids aren't my siblings, and if she didn't get with my program, she could choose not to be my mom the minute I turned 18. Big argument. They tried to take my car keys as punishment, and when I told my dad, since the car was in his name, he called and said that they give him or me the keys immediately, or he'd get the police involved. So my mom has been crying and saying I'm an idiot. Stepdad agrees. My stepbrother said he thought it was the best, and I'm right. My grandparents came over and tried to talk me into apologizing and going along with things. My dad says they pushed me too much and got what they earned, but I probably should have just left it alone in the car. I don't think it was wrong, but I don't know if I was an idiot. Not the idiot. You're already trying to be civil with the stepdad and step-siblings. You have a dad involved in your life, and it seems you've clearly expressed that you're uncomfortable calling them dad or your siblings, so they shouldn't be forcing you to call them that or introducing you that way. A selfish woman breaks up her family and tries to make a new one, and then acts surprised when not everyone she betrayed is playing along. Too bad. Your mom could have acted less like a selfish, impulsive nitwit, and none of you would be in this situation. Plus, one of the step-sibs agreed. The one is old enough to see for sure what's happening. You can't force a blend. It must happen on its own. Is your dad dating or married? Ask your mom if she wants you to replace her with the next person he gets involved with because he wants to make a happy blended family. Is she really okay hearing you call someone else mom because your dad likes sleeping with her? Mom is being a selfish idiot, as is stepdad for going along with the charade.